This is Retro. I'm back. Hey, I just want to share my thoughts today. I know I ain't been on, on YouTube for a while because I'm too busy being there on Twitter, which is very fun, man. I've been having a ball over there on Twitter, so that's the reason why I haven't been on YouTube. And plus, I've been working lately, but I already discussed that with y'all, what I've been doing, to my fans out there and everything else, my growing fans. But one thing I want to share, a few things that have come to heart. That all this Xbox, Spider-Man going to PlayStation is finally being put to rest. I like my boy that I like to watch, when he was on YouTube called Red Dragon, and he shared an article what happened, shared, little content, what, happened between Microsoft and Activision and Marvel with the deal of transporting the IP into Microsoft. So this is Marvel, because you remember Activision had all Spider-Man IPs. Everybody know that. And then from there, after Activision started falling off, and then their contract, was gone. They had to give up their contract with Spider-Man. I think they didn't want to push Spider-Man no more. After that, then you have, cause they had an IP of Spider-Man for a long time, even since when Spider-Man came out for what they call that, when it was still out for Activision, when it came out for Atari, they had an IP to Spider-Man, and finally Activision turned around and released Spider-Man, and I guess gave it to Sony or gave it back to Marvel, and Marvel first impression was to give it to Microsoft, and they come to find out that Microsoft didn't want the IP of Marvel. I guess Marvel, Spider-Man, or maybe other Marvel, Spider-Man franchise out there, but they didn't want the IP to Marvel games. And I think Nintendo pick up some of the IPs, because everybody remember Marvel Alliance 3. Everybody remember didn't sold well on the Nintendo, not Wii, Nintendo Switch. It didn't sold well on Nintendo Switch. Spider-Man PS4, sold 20 million on their first year, while what's the name haven't done that well on this side. Marvel Alliance 3 on the what they call that, Switch. But anywho, you have fanboys actually mad at Sony over this whole ordeal. Xbox fanboy were actually mad over Sony over this ordeal about Spider-Man being on their system. And I used to hear fanboys going around saying, like, because Microsoft had bought Bethesda, and they said, well, Sony turned around and then bought Spider-Man, and you come to find out that the first offer was to Microsoft. And these fanboys were sitting up here actually getting mad and talking about saying, when Sony turned around and got the IPs to Spider-Man and Marvel games, they were actually on there upset at Sony because Sony turned around and had these Marvel IPs, where Microsoft had the first to get the IPs and then turned it down. And I'm not surprised by it, because it seemed like something that what Phil would do. But Phil said he want to focus on Halo, Gears, and Forza. He said that's the only thing they want to focus on, but they ain't want to focus on none of the Marvel games. But you hear Xbox fanboys upset about this whole ordeal about these Marvel games. They sat there and thinking that Sony just actually went and took the IPs from Microsoft, took the from Marvel, to make sure Microsoft don't never get none of the IPs. And they come to find out that none of that wasn't true, that that Microsoft didn't want the IPs of Marvel games. And I sat there and looked at that. I said, man, I'm glad this coming to rest. That's the reason why I've been on Twitter a lot. So that's the reason why I have been doing those videos, because I just been searching, man, on Twitter to find out more about this gaming news, because gaming news is serious, man. If you're a real gamer, Just like when it come down to that Xbox ambassador thing, that was very serious. You got people don't play no games and stuff like that, just out there influence other people. They don't even play games. So that's a very important, and special thanks to the King Thrash. I give honor due. That came against mess like that. But this thing what Red Dragon was talking about, that was very important. And now it's spreading like wildfire. Now about this thing with this app with the Marvel IPs that Microsoft had turned down. And so you got the Xbox fanboys that's out there trying to come against Sony, to PlayStation owners who actually got Spider-Man games and Marvel games, which Microsoft had the first, the first people who get the IPs and they shot it down. They did not want it. And I'm glad this truth come out to put this to rest. You will have Xbox fanboys will still feel the same about that. Like Sony, took them IPs from them and come to find out that it all wasn't true. The stuff that they threw in the trash, if you turn around and throw a diamond in the trash can and somebody go in there and pick it up, you can't get mad at the person who won the trash can and took the diamond out of the trash can. You threw the diamond in the trash can. You didn't want to have no parts with it. But Sony wouldn't pick up that diamond, dust it off, clean it off, and that's what they had to do. Now look at Spider-Man today. Spider-Man is the most beautiful game that you see on a PlayStation platform, a superhero game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad this news came out. I'm very excited about it. And right now I have to get off right now, but sometimes I'm going to be on YouTube. But most of my time I'm going to be on Twitter. I'm going where the news at. So if I'm not on my page, on YouTube, I'm on Twitter because I'm looking for gaming news. And this is the most important game news that I ever heard of today, especially the Xbox ambassador thing. But the Spider-Man thing is the most good news I heard, when it came down to Spider-Man IPs, where Xbox fanboy was upset about it and didn't want to get mad at Phil, that Phil turned around and let that IP get out of their hands like that. But hey, there you have it. This is Retro, and I'm out. One.